Hi, everyone. Welcome to
Oh,
Decoding Your Superpowers.
yeah, we're
Teresa
here.
Lisum, and
Linda Karchner.
we're so glad you're here. This is the time in our week when we get to look over somebody's real strengths report
Mhm.
and get to read it or look, analyze it, dig deeper,
Mhm.
and really talk through how this person is showing up in the world, what's important to this person, um, where this person is most productive, most efficient, most energized. And yeah, just get to really shine a light on this person's strengths because our society is so good at shining a light on our weaknesses and
Huh?
things that are not so great about us. And
Yeah,
so this strengths concept gives us the opportunity to shine a light on what's already working for us, what is easy for us, what is fun for us, and what comes organically, so much so that we don't even really know, we don't realize that, oh, maybe it is something special to us. We're very dismissive of that.
right.
That's just my opinion, but
Yeah. Well, I think we found that with our own strengths, like
yeah, it
sort
was
of taken
very,
for granted.
yeah, very empowering to have a third party reflect back to me personally who I was. And like it's very confirming, very validating, like, oh, yeah, I guess I do that. I guess I am like that. We
Yeah,
we
I
don't
guess I
always,
always
we're not
have been
always,
like that.
yeah, we're not always given that opportunity
Yeah.
to really look at ourselves from that perspective. So for me, it's exciting to be able to shine a light on somebody's superpowers and watch them light up like,
Right.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just so empowering. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the report for today. Linda, and feel free to share whatever else you want to share.
Yeah, let's just do our little bit of an intro about what Clifton Strengths are. Um, Maybe people know and maybe they don't. This is an online assessment that you take through Gallup.com, and it used to be called Strengths Finders back in the day when they first started. And then they named it after Don Clifton, who is the originator of this assessment after he passed away. And so, as kind of a tribute to him. So now it's called Clifton Strengths. It has like 200 questions that you answer, and it's like answered on a continuum. And you have 20 seconds to answer each question. And some people feel intimidated by that, but that is to force those of us who want to think and ponder and go into deep dives and rabbit trails to just that gut instinct first response.
Right, right.
And so you get through those 200 questions pretty quickly because it will time you out of a question and say, hey, are you still there? Do you really want to finish doing this if you take too long? So you get through those 200 questions and it immediately gives you your report. And it's about a 25, 26 page report of so much detail about
Mhm.
what is right about you, just like Teresa was talking about earlier. And it tests or assesses the same 34 strengths for everybody. But each of us has those 34 strengths in our own unique order. And I'm not a mathematician, but if you did the math to figure out how many combinations of 34 there can be, it's billions.
Mhm.
So we each are infinitely unique and special in our own way. And Teresa and I are very similar in our top domains, and we'll talk about those in a little bit, and some of our top strengths. But even though we're very similar, we are not totally alike. She has some strengths in her top 10 that I might have, in the middle or at the bottom. So we are infinitely unique when we find out the results of this assessment. So it's a pretty special one.
Thank you, Linda. And just that phrase, infinitely unique. I love that phrase. That's really empowering for me. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm infinitely unique. You're infinitely unique. That means every other person on the planet is infinitely unique. And so
Right.
I think that's a good thing to remember. I know, I think society tries to have us
Yeah.
conform,
Right.
and we really shouldn't be conforming. We should
Right.
all be doing our own thing and embracing that uniqueness. So, yeah, it's a good starting point for us to realize it's okay to
Yeah.
be ourselves and be different, because that's what we're supposed to be.
Right.
But then
Yeah.
so is everybody else.
Yeah. I've seen t-shirts and different sayings that say never dull your sparkle.
Oh,
And I
love that.
think when we're trying to conform, we lose some of our sparkle,
Love that.
so let's sparkle.
Yes, I love that. So knowing your strengths and having somebody like Linda or myself to really help you understand them and embrace them will help you sparkle.
There
Love
we
that.
go.
Thank you for that. So this is a one page of your report, and this is where it categorizes or puts all of our strengths in the order that works for us based on our answers. And
Okay.
that assessment takes about a half hour, just so you
Mm.
know. And plan for uninterrupted time.
Yeah.
You don't want to stop and start and stop and start. You can't really save the results. So
Yeah.
just carve out a half
Yeah. Don't
hour.
don't put a cake in the oven and
Right.
be having to check on that and
Right,
you know,
right. Just be
just
in the
have to
moment
focus.
and give yourself time, invest in you've already invested in the assessment. So invest
Yeah.
in that time for yourself to get some quality results.
Hmm.
So here's our 34. As Linda said, there's a ton more pages. Don't get overwhelmed when you see those
Right.
results.
Sometime
Um,
we should probably do like just an overview of the results.
well, that's a good
Uh,
idea.
like the report, I should say.
Hmm. Like
Just
that.
a thought.
Of the entire report. And it's very rich with a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
information. Like I said, but it can be overwhelming. But coaches such as myself and Linda, we can really simplify it and
Hmm.
give it to you in a way that's going to impact your life in a very short period of time.
Hmm.
So we like to really focus on the top 10. So, and it's conveniently set out here on the side.
Yeah.
So this top 10 is where this particular person sparkles and shines. It's their zone of genius. It's where they are most authentic. Like we said, most productive, most energized, most creative. So this is the best of this person is when they're using these top 10 strengths. The bottom five, we never reference weaknesses. These are all strengths and they all come to light as needed. Um, so these bottom ones are not weaknesses. They're just strengths that are not important to us. They don't energize us in any way. In fact, they might de-energize us and make
Absolutely.
us not feel quite as authentic as if we're working from these top 10. So the
It's
nice thing
really,
about,
really liberating to know your bottom strengths so that you can give yourself permission to go back up to your zone of genius and do the things that you need to do or want to do, have a passion for in your zone of genius,
right,
not
right.
by trying to do it the way, your mom or your dad did it, or a teacher did it, or a coach, or whoever. Um, I just looking at this person's, we usually don't talk about the bottom strengths first, but discipline and consistency are the bottom two strengths for this person. And so discipline means like having a set routine for doing everything. Like someone who has an order that they do everything from the time they get up in the morning to the time they get to go to bed at night. They like their routines. And consistency kind of has a little bit of a flavor of that, but it's more like the rules should be the same for everybody. So this person would probably chafe at having to do the same thing the same way every day, and would chafe at the idea of having to treat all the people exactly the same. So, this is a person who's like, probably very uh energetic and inspired by doing different things.
And in the moment.
And in the moment,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Um, forgive me. I want to point out this consistency one.
Hmm.
This person has consistency low, but that doesn't mean they can't be consistent. So
Right.
this is a little bit of a label on this particular strength that is not as we would define it in a normal usage. So
Yeah.
consistency is more of a, like you said, treating other people with the same rules across the board,
Hmm.
not consistent in their actions. So
Hmm.
just be aware that some of these strengths are labeled perfectly and you can understand them just by reading the name of the strength, and others are not exactly right on point that you would think they should be or would
Right.
be. So
Right. Yeah. A
so
little bit of
that's
the connotations are a little bit different compared to what we usually think of in the English
right.
language.
And this is so when we do go to the bottom strengths for a person in front of us, we kind of give them permission to let that stuff go.
Yeah.
They don't have to be structured. They don't have to treat people the same. They don't have to have this wide circle of people that they want to include and bring in to the
Right.
party. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have to gather information.
Mm.
And so this person, they can just let go of this stuff. And
Yeah.
it can be really satisfying knowing, like, oh, thank goodness, I don't have
Yeah.
to worry about that stuff. Now, anything in this middle part from like, I don't know, 29, we'll say up to 13-ish somewhere, that's the middle neutral point of the report. There's no energy whatsoever here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you don't know what your middle ones are neither, Linda. Like, I don't know. I've
Yeah,
never really
a
paid
few of them I
attention.
know where they are just because, like my husband has one of them high. And so I've looked, like he has ideation at number one. So I know my ideation is 18 because we've
Hmm.
compared notes. But other than that, yeah,
Yeah, they don't serve us in any way.
not
That
really.
doesn't mean they're not there. They're just not important to us. Anything we need to do can all be done from these top 10.
Hmm.
So they're like a great substitute for, anything that falls in this middle part. Um, so quickly, we want to reference domains. So we call them domains.
Hmm.
And if you look in this little rectangle here, you can see they're all kind of color coded. So when you look at these strengths, they're all going to fit into one of these categories, one of these domains. And that's important. So we just count them up. So before we share a report with somebody, we just go in and count up those top 10 strengths and decide what category they fit in. And if somebody has three strengths, three strengths, and they fit into a particular category, that category is important to them.
Hmm.
If there's four, then it's a little bit more important. If there's five, it's really important. So you can see where I'm going. The more strengths in any particular category or domain, the more of importance that domain is in this person's life. So we just count them up. And you
Yeah.
can see just by looking at the colors, let me pull this up a little closer,
Yeah. There you
that
go. That's good.
orange is 1, 2, pretty dominant. And I think
Yeah.
there's 5 there without me.
Mhm.
So this particular person falls into the influencing realm, influencing theme. That's what Clifton and Gallup calls them, is
Mhm.
themes. We call them domains, but they mean the exact same thing. So this person is a high influencer. Now, anybody is an influencer. So if
Right.
you don't have any influencing strengths like me, don't
Mhm.
worry about it. That doesn't mean you can't influence people. That just means this person is vitally important with 5 influencing strengths, that this person is really, really energized by moving people forward. That's what
The emphasis
influencing
here
means
is
in this
people.
context.
People is plural, so it's moving groups of people forward. And that group may be a small group, but it is very important to them to move that group of people forward.
Yeah, thank you. And that means moving them from point A to point B. And
Mhm.
this particular person can see all of the steps to get them there.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
this person is very drawn to this. I mean, this is a vital importance to their life, is to move these people forward
Mhm.
on this path. They can see the end result. They can see the potential. They,
Right.
now the thing is about this person and their strong influencing desire, some people that they want to influence and move might not be open to that. So this person's going to want to be really careful as to how they communicate that, oh, I can see you being here and we can do this. And, I'm excited. Let's get going. It's not everybody's going to be open to that on the receiving end.
Yeah.
So just, be aware of that. And that calls,
Asking permission
yes.
is very important when you're a high influencer. Do you, I'm so excited. I can see where, this could go in your life, or what you could do in your life. Would you like me to share what
Mhm.
I see or what I'm thinking? Um, Rather than just assuming that
Right.
everybody wants to hear and get moved forward.
And this person, and like I said, I don't have, like, I think I have one influencing strength in my top 10.
What do you have in your top?
I believe it's woo is
Oh,
not,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I
And,
have communication at number 10. That's my only influencing in my top 10.
and what was I going to say about that? It'll come back to me. Um, as we're talking, and I'll bring it up when I come back to that. But this is interesting. I wanted to pull out. So there's woo sitting at number 4, but they have relator sitting at number 1. Now, the number 1 strength is the highest energy. So
Hmm.
whatever's sitting there, this person, they draw a lot of energy. It excites them.
Yeah.
Relator is sitting at number 1, which is so interesting because
Yeah.
woo, they're almost like in opposition. Relator is in
Right.
opposition to woo, which is very cool. I mean, it doesn't always work out this way. Typically, person of high relator strength, the woo is down near the bottom or
Right.
in the middle.
Right.
And
Hmm.
this person just happens to have them up high, which
Yeah.
is so cool. I'd love to know how it plays out for them.
Right. I know that would be very fascinating. I'm like you. I don't know very many people who have both of those in their top 10, and these are in their top 5 even. So,
Right.
yeah, Relator at number 1 and Woo at number 4. So, they can, people probably don't realize that this person needs time after. So woo means winning others over. It's the
Mhm.
person who, they've never met a stranger. My mom was this way. When you get a wrong phone number, they end up talking to the person and being their best friend. And they can go into a room and they're kind of the life of the party. But this person in particular, because they have Relator in their top 10 and so high, they probably need a lot more time than the average person with Woo with their inner circle. to
Mm.
decompress and re-energize and to kind of have their foundation, because relator again is one of those terms that is not necessarily how it sounds to us at first blush.
Mm.
But it means that you have a small inner circle of deep friendship, that maybe even lifelong friends,
Mhm.
that's who you really rely on.
And
Um,
and and that inner circle is of utmost importance
yes.
to you. There's that feeling of trust and security. You can just totally be yourself there. Um, and it takes people some um, ways, maybe some time to get into that inner circle, possibly. So
Yeah.
if you're a person that is friends with this person, you might be their friend, and but they may not let you into that inner circle. They only let certain people in there.
Mhm.
And it might be two, three people. It doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
lot. It
No,
could just
no.
be
Yeah.
family members.
Right.
Um, but if somebody violates that
Uh,
trust and that sense of close knit loyalty, then
mm,
that person's boom out of
yeah.
that inner circle and they're not getting back in.
Yeah. And it's devastating to a person who has relator high, because they have put a lot of energy, they've risked their heart to allow someone into that inner circle, and when that is violated, it's
Mhm.
devastating.
And when I know that somebody has relator high and they consider me a friend,
Mhm.
that's an honor and a
Oh,
privilege
absolutely. Yeah.
to be considered a friend of a relator, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
I agree. Definitely.
So a relator, the word again is a little bit,
Hmm.
it's different than the actual definition of the strength itself. So yes, anybody can relate to anybody, but this particular person loves that inner circle.
Right. Yeah,
And
you had
then
mentioned includer earlier. That's down in this
it's,
person's bottom strength.
yes.
So I think that, that's often what happens. Um, that, relator and includer tend to be kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, because includer is, everybody have a seat at the table. Come on in. And,
Hmm.
and then there's woo also. Like, I have includer high, but not woo. So, I like to make sure that people are comfortable. Like at church, if there's someone standing by themselves, I want to reach out to them and make sure that they know where the restrooms are, or, whatever. So,
Hmm.
yeah,
And
interesting.
this person, the lineup of the strengths and where they're at in relationship with each other,
Mm,
they influence each other.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
for
so they
sure.
weave together. So we tease them apart separately,
Mhm.
but when we're talking to this person who this report belongs to,
Right.
typically, and I'm guessing it's the same for you, Linda, I can hear these different strengths appearing in the way they talk.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's a beautiful tapestry how these all weave together to play out this person's
yeah, it definitely is.
superpowers.
Yeah,
But I do want to mention woo. This is why it'd be nice to have this person in front of us.
yeah.
So a woo person, you could, if you're in a group of people, you can see the woo person from
Right.
across the room. They're going to be charming and
Uh-huh.
entertaining and chit chatty and engaging, and everybody, might be around them listening to them talk. So, which
Yes,
is
that
so
is
fun.
very
I mean, I'm
true.
just trying to envision how this plays out for this person.
Yeah.
So yes, they're very woo, 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 chit chatty. I want to, connect with everybody in the room, but I'm not going to let you into my inner circle. So once that person leaves the room, their
Yeah.
woo goes with them and they go back to their small inner circle.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So, that woo might seem kind of superficial
Yeah. Yeah.
to people on the outside looking in. They might think that this is a very superficial kind of person
Mm-hmm.
who just, like, maybe talks a lot. Communication is number six.
Mm.
Kind of likes to keep things organized, enjoys competition and making things better, uh, but don't realize that at the heart of this person they actually, relators, I think, have very tender hearts. They're very
Mm,
protective
mm,
of that inner world. And
mm,
that's why they don't let a lot of people into that, because it's precious.
mm,
And so people may see this person as being that kind of superficial la la la, but deep down they really have a core group of people who they want to share deeply with.
I love that insight. Thank you so much. I know we're out of time, but we're going to go just a few more minutes if everybody's willing to listen in. I want
So
to talk about that achiever at number 5.
yes, I kept looking at that.
So an achiever, wait, is there oh yeah, activator and
And
achiever.
achiever,
Yeah,
yeah.
they have both of those pretty close to each other. So I
Yeah.
always see an activator and achiever as like one's the beginning and one's the ending.
Okay.
And
Okay, so
but
the
not,
activator gets things started,
yep,
and
yep.
achiever gets it to the finish line.
Right, right. And not everybody has them
I love
together
that.
like this.
No, uh-uh.
No, like they might be really good with their activator up high. They may like go, go, go. Let's get
Yeah,
things done. Let's get things started. They're really, really good at sparking that initial beginning point and get everybody on board and let's go. But they may lose interest and
right.
move on to something else.
The next bright, shiny object.
Right, right. Whereas the achiever, they're gonna make sure things are complete. And they're
Yeah,
going to make sure they tie up everything and
yeah,
finish that project. So it's
right.
great to have it together,
Mm-hmm.
line up, but it doesn't always happen that way.
No. I
Does
think
not
this
always
would be a
happen that
good
way.
person to have, like, on your work, as a work colleague, because they're really about getting things done and making things better. And like, oh, there's just so much we could talk about.
For sure.
And
Like
the
with
deliberative is like seeing what could go wrong.
Right, I was just say with maximizer and deliberative there,
Yeah,
they're gonna up level everything and make it
yeah,
as good
yeah,
as possible, make it the
yeah,
best.
yeah,
And that deliberative is gonna allow them to see what could keep that from happening.
yeah,
Okay, and so they're gonna really check at things and make sure the plans and the steps are in place and make sure it's all gonna go in a nice, flow and path to
right.
that upper level to kick it up to that next level as in the maximizer. So
Yeah.
yeah, and we say this every time we look at a report. This person is awesome. This person
Yeah.
is amazing. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I did want to say that they do have their secondary domain is executing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and that plays right into that activator and achiever. This person does like to get things done as
Hmm.
they're moving people along from
Yeah,
point A to point B. And this is all so energizing for them. Yeah, this is
yeah,
a person that would be great to have as your friend because they're going to kick you in the pants and
right.
get you motivated. And yeah, this is and yeah, I just love looking at people's report. I just feel I'm getting an inside look of their
Yeah, just a
again, their
glimpse.
where they're showing up, the way they're thinking and the way they're showing up in the world. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah, very neat.
So we always just run out of time way
I
too
know,
quickly. Man,
I know.
we're just touching the tip of the iceberg,
Yes.
man.
And it um what's the word I want? Like, exemplifies or reiterates the fact, the point that it is so beneficial to have a coach to help you really dig into all these things that are so good about yourself.
Mhm.
And we kind of touched on this a little bit, but Clifton Strengths are about everything that we do. It's our job, it's our health, it's our relationships, it's our charity work, it's the way we interact with everybody. It's, and you said at the beginning, it's the way that we get things done. It's, how we're inspired and
Mhm.
think and everything. So it's not just about a job, even though most people who've been introduced to Clifton Strengths, it's been through their job or through
Yeah,
their
yeah,
college.
yeah.
So it's not just about education and employment. It's
Right, right.
it's how
And
you
I
do
think
everything.
we have learned to take it to that really personal level
Yeah,
as
yeah,
individuals. And there's
yeah.
so many nuances and so many levels that this can go, but all of these strengths, everything can be applied to different areas of people's lives. And once you have that awareness, your life's only going to get better.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
it's just so empowering to know this stuff about yourself, and you can communicate it to other people.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me that's really powerful. Well,
Hmm,
this is I do this because I'm a
hmm,
high relationship builder. I love collaboration. So
hmm.
that's what I've learned to move towards. So just knowing these things about yourself can help you tweak the path or the trajectory or some of your decisions and your choices in
Hmm.
different areas of your life. So yeah, it's an exciting, oh, of course it's exciting. That's why we do this. That's why we
Yeah,
love helping people
right.
see
Absolutely.
see their own strengths. So you can certainly reach out to me or Linda. We would love to help you tap into your strengths and see yourself from this powerful perspective, this empowering perspective. And you can check out our contact info in the
Yep.
description that goes with this video. So look there. And thank you so much, Linda. So
Yeah, you're
appreciate
welcome. Yeah,
doing
we
this.
missed
We
each other
absolutely
last
love
time.
this. We're here every Tuesday, forgot what day of the week it was,
Right.
to look at somebody's report. If you have a report that you'd like us to look at
Yeah, we'd
and
love to get that.
dig into here live,
Even be
please.
on Zoom with us if you want to.
Yeah, you're welcome to join us because we like to have people here where we can ask them questions and
Hmm.
see how these strengths play out for them. We're just guessing. But it's
Right.
nice to have the person in front of us
Yeah.
who can confirm or deny or explain better to us. This is how
Right.
it plays out for them.
Yeah, we have pretty well-educated guesses.
Yeah.
You never know how it plays out in someone's life.
Yeah, and
Different
I might have
factors.
shared this with you once, Linda. Not too long ago, somebody had context at number one.
Oh,
And this person gave me the best education on how a high context person thinks.
yeah,
Because it was like I couldn't understand it because it's very low for me.
yeah.
So could not imagine how a person of high context thinks. So they told me how they think. And so,
Uh-huh.
of course, it helped me get a better understanding of it.
Yeah, that's
And they
great.
never had to do that before. So it was helpful to them as well.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Help them to verbalize.
Right, right.
And it probably made a lot of sense to them after they
Yep.
said it out loud.
Yep, yep. So many positives that could come out of knowing your strengths. So thank you, Linda. We
Yeah.
do have holidays coming up as of this recording, so we may miss a week or two, but generally we're here every week going
Hmm.
through somebody's report. Get us your report if you'd like us to go over it, and we'll do that for you. So thank
Yeah.
you so much, my friends.
Everyone.
Thank you, Linda, and we will see you guys the next time.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.